Hi everyone, my name's Lou Sims and welcome to my channel. Today is another wonderful YouTube hop with a fantastic group of creative souls from Crafting Together with All Brands. And our theme is, because it's February, it's got a love sort of theme to it. And we're each creating a project, that we think fits with that theme. So I grabbed a few bits and pieces. I'm working on a large A4 art journal and I am doing it portrait. I will try and make sure you can see as much of the journal as possible, and if I need to I'll move it up and down. And today I wanted to do something a little bit different. I wanted to do an art journal page and make it a little bit of an art journal page that I just went with the flow. It was how I was feeling combined with the theme and just see where it took me rather than, have a planned out thing in my head. So I'm going to get started. I've got some gel medium ready. I've got stencils ready, some papers, some stamps. And as I said, I'm just going to go with, how I feel it should grow with me. So I'm going to begin by, like I said, I've got some book pages here. I just want to tear them up and I'm just going to stick them down, to the background wherever, as she says. And I'm not worried about the words on here because I will end up covering them probably with some gesso at some point. So let's just grab a few different strips and we'll go from there. And I'm going to stick mine down with some gel medium. Okay, right, so we'll just get these layers down. So the theme is, love, or what we think is love. So I thought it'd be nice to express my love of crafting and using different products in an art form or art journal form, I suppose. If you've not been in part of these YouTube hops before, everybody taking part will also be listed below. If you're new to my channel, I'd love it if you subscribed, hit the notifications button, leave a comment, all of those sort of things. Right, so as I said, I'm just layering up and having a look at where I want to put some bits and pieces and going, basically going where my eye thinks, it would look, they'd look nice. Nice is not the word I'm looking for. Where I just think they please my eye. I had to think then. Right, so let's just do a few more. Okay, so that's my initial layer down. I'm going to heat set it quickly with the heat gun, ready to add a little bit of colour next. Right, that's dry enough for what I want to do. I just want to bring in a little bit of gesso. I want to have the words there, but not them to be the complete focal point. Right, there we go. And whilst that's drying, let's move you over a little bit. I've got another piece of book paper and I'm just going to add some gesso onto some of that because I decided that I think I might actually want to stamp on this. So just going to cover this with a little bit of gesso as well. And I can put that to one side and let it dry. So let's put that over there. I'm just moving the gesso out of the way. Okay, so while the gesso is still wet, I'm going to bring in some distress sprays, I think. And I can let the two merge together and, you know, let them dry together. Right, that was Wild Honey. I'm now just going to put some of the Lost Shadow on top in places. And we'll give that a little bit of a dry. Okay, it's dry, but it could be a little bit dry, but it will do for what we want to do. Now, on a scrap piece of paper, I've just doodled myself a little bit of a heart, which I've cut out as a template. And I'm just working out where I think I'd like it to go on my page. I think we'll go about over there. And I've got a stencil, and this is one of Shady Design, one of mine, and it's called Hit the Note. And I'm going to use Distress inks now, and I'm going to use Wild Honey, and I'm going to use the Lost Shadow just to add some extra detailing in around this sort of heart area. Right, that's added some subtle detailing to it. So I want to quickly dry off because I want to go over around the outside with the Lost Shadow. I like using a distress over an oxide because you've got the translucent nature of the distress, but you can still see the oxide underneath. So as I said, this is just a rough outline of where I'd like this to be, and I'm going to use the Lost Shadow, and it perfectly fits because it gets beautifully lost into the background, and it's mixing beautifully with my distress ink, so it should create, I'm hoping, she says, a shadow effect. Okay, so it's created just a rough sort of shadow effect on my page, as you can see there. So I know that's where the heart is going to be, and I can carry on building up from those layers. Right, I'm going to give it a quick blast to let it dry, and we'll get on to the next part. Again, it's not 100% dry, but it'll do for what I want to do at the moment. Okay, I'm taking one of the stamps that is from a new set of stamps I've got coming out for Shady Designs, and I'm using a Frey Burlap Archival ink, and I just want to add some little bit of stamping now into the background. I'm not going to be too precious if it's not clear, because obviously I'm working in my art journal and I'm working on a page that's got other pages behind it, that's got other layers in it. So I just want to add a little bit of a subtle background. So I'm keeping everything quite tonal. I actually felt for this project as well that I didn't want to go for love in the traditional sense that it had to be all red and pink. I wanted it to be sunshine and warmth, and how I was feeling today about the page I was making. Right, I'm quite happy with that. I'm not sure if I'm going to put any stamping here, but I quite like the stamping. I think I just need something up in the corner though. So let's have a think. Which part of the stamp now will I use? Yeah, I'll go for this part. I might as well not waste the ink on this side. There we go. So now I can see a little bit more of the heart shape, which I will add a little bit more definition as we go through. Okay, I'm just going to bring in another little bit of stamp detail, but this time I'm going to go with frayed burlap, but in the actual Oxide this time. So I've got a mixture of different ink types going on, and obviously this is going over lots of different layers, so if some of it shows, it's brilliant. If some of it doesn't, that's equally as cool. Right, well, I've got the frayed burlap out. I'm just going to put a little bit, and it's wet in places, I just want to put a little bit around the heart area, and any ink that's wet I'm going to blend out. So little by little now, by the layers, even though I've used subtle light colours, the heart's still standing out, and I've got some other, you know, little bits of detail going on around. I'm just going to bring out, while I've got some frayed burlap on my blending brush, I'm just going to bring it out in places, and whilst this ink is wet, just blur it in a little bit. Okay, so we've got that there. Right, and I think, I keep saying right, but that's me mentally checking in my head what I'm doing next. This page does now need to dry, and we'll get on the embellishments. But before I let it dry, I'm just going to splatter a few of the Lost Shadow in places, and then they can dry, and the Lost Shadow will take up the colour underneath, and in places it will stand out in its own colour, but then it seems to, in the Oxide, seems to split all the other colours up as well. It's really gives a really cool effect. So I'm just going to leave that page to dry, and then I'll bring in my other book page and we'll start making the decorations. Right, luckily I went to press stop and realised that for some unknown reason my video had failed, bizarrely. Okay, let me explain what I'm going to do next, because I haven't done much else extra, but I can explain. So what I did is I've taken my stamps, which is going to be my next Shady Designs launch, called Square Frames, and I've stamped some of the images onto the piece of book paper that no, I had gessoed, and I've just filled the page up with some of the smaller images and everything like that. Now, so I don't have to cut out all the little frou-frou bits and just cut out the floral images, what I then did was I actually just stamped the two main focal stamps just in place where I want them to be. I can add in other little bits of stamping as and when I need it, but this is just so I could collage up these areas as well. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to go and quickly cut these out, and I'll be back, and we can start collaging everything back into place. Well, as I said, I went away and cut them out. Now, anybody who follows me regularly will know that this was painful for me, only because I normally cut with a little border around the outside. But I really wanted to have them so when they were stuck down, that, you know, you could see the other outline of the stamped image there. So I'm just going to stick these in place. And now this is where, you know, I can add different bits to the page. And part of the favorite part for me as well is this is now where I can escape and add all the little bits I want to add to my page, change it up. I mean, if I didn't like the colours, for example, I could spritz over it now as well. Right, let's just put some gel medium underneath there. I'm using a matte gel medium because I don't want everything shiny. And some of my Oxide is still damp, and that's cool. Look, it's mixing with the gel medium. Oh, I'm going to drag that colour out. Well, that's a really good happy accident. Let's drag it out here as well then. Oh, I like that. Well, that's a good happy accident. I've got some on there. I'm just going to get another spatula so I don't lose that colour. I might as well bring it in onto this one as well. Right, so that's like the first starting point. Oh, I just noticed that bit needs a bit of gel medium and sticking down. So that's the starting point of building up, you know, my stamped layers. And I've obviously cut out some of the other little bits, and I can add some more detail with them as well. And I want to just start adding these in places. Anything that hangs over the edge I will trim away once everything is well and truly dry. Right, so that's building up. I'm just going to dry it off because I want to start defining the heart and then see if I need to do some stamping up in the corner there and add some extra elements. But I just want to dry off a little bit of the gel medium just so I can do the next layer. Okay, well, that's dry enough for what I want to do at the moment. And I wasn't quite sure whether I wanted to do a black outline on the heart or not. So I'm just going to start with, because I can't make my mind up, I'm just going to use a little bit of Archival ink in the frayed burlap and just see if that defines it just a little bit more. Let's move you across. I'm just trying not to, because the gel medium is still a little bit damp, I'm trying not to stick this down to it. Okay. I'm just putting it in different places. Well, the main heart areas, and I can decide then if I want to put a black outline. But I do like the blending, but I do think it needs edging in some way. So whilst I'm pleased it did do that, I do think it needs edging. So I'm just going to go and grab a micron pen. Right, let's I do have 1 or 2 micron pens, but I want to start off with quite a fine one, because I can always build my outline up and make it slightly thicker rather than start with a thick one. And really should let this dry a little bit more, but as I said with the start of the page, it was just going with it and seeing where it takes me. And if I start with a fine liner, gosh, that was like a tongue twister, I can always make the lines a little bit thicker, but I don't really want to have to gesso them out or try and find a way of disguising them. I'm just wiping I don't want to get because certain areas are still a little bit damp. I think it needs to be a little bit thicker, but I'm not going to go up much. So that was a 005. I'm going to look for a 01 or a 02. I don't really want it to be much thicker. 03 I think will be a bit too thick. Or 12 will just be like a solid outline. Let's go for the 2. Hold on, I'll tell you what I'll do is if I do it on that. Yeah, let's go for the 2 and see how that turns out. Now I think that looks better. It stands out, but it's not too in your face standing out. Right, I'll keep that because I'll probably use that pen again in a moment. Let's just file the rest of you over there. And I think I need something up here, and I'm going to grab, I do think I need something up there. I'm not sure whether to do that one darker. I think not. I think I might go for this one. No, that's not quite. No, I'm going to go back to which was my initial idea, which was this one. I'm not sure I'm going to stamp all of it, but I'll ink all of it. So here we go. And let's just put you there so I can just in case. Because what I might do is something like that. And then I can see about whether I want to extend it or not and do another. No, I'm going to do that like that. Just get that ink. And actually, why not? I won't waste the ink. I'll just put this in the bottom corner. And then so let's put you back, and then I think what I'll do is extend that pattern, but with this design. I don't really need that anymore. But I could have gone over the heart a little bit, couldn't I? Never mind. And I think I'm going to extend it. So it goes there. And I didn't place that very well on my block, so I'm hoping the image will come out because it's hitting the top of my journal. Oh, not too bad. And let's not waste the ink. And we'll put that there. And see if there's anything left down here rather than waste the ink. I'm just going to do a little bit of that edging. Just a bit further up. Oh, now I'm going to not like that. I'll have to change that in a minute. Right, we'll do that like that. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit happier. Okay, put my stamps to one side. So yeah, no, that makes me feel a little bit happier. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add on from there. And don't think I'm going to go for, I'm just going to go for the heart. And add a heart on for now. Sorry, you're getting lost in my world of that. I'm just looking at the page and going, oh, I think I need that. I think I need that. And this is what I wanted from the theme. I wanted it to be, you know, that I'm loving creating something a little bit different. Let's put that there. And we've got it. Let's take off some of that gel medium because I don't need all of it. Pull in a, oh, loving that the oxide is still a little bit wet and I can add a bit of colour. Add a bit of that on there. I've got spatulas everywhere now. And I'm gonna, sorry, I'm just having a look now. I kept some bits that had the words on. I think I'm going to cut some of those out and add them as little extra pieces. And this one here was like long terrain. I saw that and I thought, oh. And I'm just going to add them in different areas. Right, sorry, I'm just smidging gel medium in places. Right, let's put that one down there. Like I said, when it's all 100% dry, I will cut away. I quite like that says random guitar. If I put it up the top here. And cut that away. That's actually, if I put some gel medium on the page, it's probably easier than trying to put it on a tiny little scrap of paper. Okay. And this says Bursting Pride. And I'm just going to do bursting and I'll have pride separately. So these are just what I was going to put in the bin after doing some cutting out. And I thought, oh, I just noticed there were some little words in there that, and rather than waste them, I could actually, you know, add them to the page in places. I don't want to add, I could have edged them in ink, black ink, but I didn't really want to. Right, and I found some more here. So what have I got here? I've got I found. So let's chop that one up. I've got I found. And I don't want that one. What else have I got? Anthem. Yeah, let's have Anthem. Because I've got stamps with a music note background in it, I might as well pick those up. So I've got Anthem there. I want to keep some of these. I will have it. Sorry, I'm now having a real good nose at what some of these words are. And I've got, let's just take that one, which is just the word what. Quite like, got that on it. Adamant. Oh my goodness. That is a blast from the past. I won't do that one. Oh, I've got Milli Vanilli there. I won't do dribble. I've got the word noble. And let's add a few of those around. No, I'm going to leave that like that for the moment. Right, let's move you guys out of the way. And just give this a quick blast. Right, that's given that a quick blast. And I want a sentiment in there, but I'm not 100% sure what it's going to be as yet. But I'm going to just grab a smaller sentiment. I know this is the largest block in the world for such a tiny sentiment, but rather than rummage around, and it says make today the day, and I just want to add it in places. I've got the gel medium still on there. I'm just going to quickly give this a blast, even though it's Archival ink. It will dry quite quickly, but with all the layers of gel medium, I just want to make doubly sure. I'm just going to add a few extra finishing touches, and then I'm going to call this done. I think with an art journal page, there is no harm walking away from a page even if it's not 100% finished, because when you look at it in a different day, a different light, suddenly new ideas come, or you find that I might want to paint all this out white and make it stand out more, and so that whatever sentiment I add in here. So I'm just going to do a few finishing touches for now, and then, like I said, I'm going to call it done for now. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't visit it on another day and add something else to it. Right, let's go for a thicker pen. Let's go for the 3. The 2 wasn't standing out. Right, let's just add. And I'm just going to do some lines and a few dots in places, just following on from where those I've stamped those. Ideally, I should really just let this dry a little bit more before I do all the pen work, but whilst the idea is in my head, I just want to put it down. Okay, I carried on playing and adding a few more lines, so I'll lift the page up and you can see where I've got to. So I just carried on going as you saw before, and I've just added, you know, 1 or 2 more. Now I'm going to call the page finished as of now. That's not to say that I won't come back and revisit it at another time. I need to think about the sentiment, and I just need to live with the page just a little bit longer so I can work out what I want to do. I might add in some little bits of shading, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So as I said, I'm going to call it done for now. And yeah, let's call it done. Stop, Louise. Stop faffing. Right, thanks ever so much for watching. Everybody else who's taking part in the YouTube hop is listed below in the description box. Any additions I add to my page, I always take photographs, and you can find those on my blog, and that will be also listed below. Any other links I think are relevant will be, again, listed in the description box below. As always, thanks ever so much for your time and company, and I look forward to seeing you all again really, really soon. Take care, everyone.